A very good evening, cherished viewers of Cafdil TV. You are welcome to Religious Vocation Digest. My name is Shadrach Samuel Adenu, and I'm sitting in for Reverend Sister Marian. In today's edition of Religious Vocation Profile, I am going to have a conversation with a brother from the congregation of Holy Cross. This very brother, I've known him for years. We grew up from the same place in Coronation here in Cape Coast. So I would say I know him very well. Let us do a little bit of an exercise. Take your smartphone, take your tablet, go with me to Facebook, type Cafdil Cape Coast. When you get there, make sure you hit the like button and then the follow button. And then let's go over to YouTube, where you type in Cafdil EDU. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And then make sure you share with your brothers and sisters who are home. Make sure you leave us your comments, your suggestions, and then we'll gladly take it from there. Right. So before I introduce brother, let us go for a short break.
We are Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny, an international congregation founded by a young lady called Blessed Anne-Marie Javoué of Blessed Memory. The congregation started in France, and gradually, through the invitation of various church leaders, we find ourselves here in Ghana today. We've been in Ghana for over 30 years. At the moment in Ghana, we can be found in Domiabra, Kunsu Domiabra in Goso Diocese. We are in the Archdiocese of Kumasi and also Obuasi. Basically, we are into education, health work, social work. In our congregation, our motto is liberate to empower. We see the need to bring liberation in all forms. So we respond to the needs of the time wherever we find ourselves. We liberate and we empower the people we encounter. Our motto is the holy will of God. We seek to do the will of God in all that we do. Prayer is our hallmark. We are very simple and we live community life as all congregations do. Thank you. If you're a young lady and you feel inspired or called to join us, you can contact us on 054 52 52 015. You can find us on Facebook, Vocations Office, Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny, West Africa. Thank you.
Welcome back from that short break. As I said earlier on, I am going to have a conversation with a brother from the congregation of the Holy Cross. I have known him for years. We grew up from the same place here in Cape Coast. I know him to be one humble person, very calm. So I'm sure you are still guessing who my guest is on Religious Vocation Profile. So without much ado, I'll go to my guest for him to introduce himself, and then we kick the ball rolling. Brother, you are welcome.
Thank you.
It's been a very long time.
Yes, very long time.
Hope all is well.
By God's grace, all is well.
Good. How is religious life treating you?
Well, I say it's treating me very well. It's something that we believe God has called us to, and also from our own personal choice.
Okay.
So God has been so good to me. And I think in the future too, God will continue to call, and hopefully I'll continue to say yes.
Good.
So thank you. God has been good.
Good. Okay, for somebody who is watching you for the very first time on their screen, I'm sure they are wondering who Brother Francisco Gillette is. So if you would be able to share with us who Brother Francis Gillette is.
Okay, so I am Brother Francisco Gillette.
Okay.
You know that we are a twin, so Francis and Francisco. So it's very important the co-comes so that it will not be somebody else.
Sure.
So I'm Brother Francisco Gillette. I'm a brother of Holy Cross. And I've been a brother since 2009. And currently I am a formator. I'm the novice master for my congregation.
Yeah.
So I have 4 novices whom with another brother we are training, and hopefully by September they may also profess first vows. So currently that's what I'm doing, and that's who I am.
So how many years are you in vows?
Since 2009 will be how many?
Okay.
I think about 15, 16
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
Oh.
So thanks be to God for those many years, I'll say.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's quickly dive into the day of your profession, as in the final day of your profession.
So we have first vows, profession, then we have final vows, profession. So after the novitiate, I had my novitiate in Uganda
Okay.
from 2008 to 2009, June. That's when I made my first vows in Uganda. Then after the first vows, I came back to Ghana. And after 6 years, I made my final vows. That was in 2015. Yeah,
Okay.
2015. I made my final vows. That means you are finally committed to the congregation, that the whole of your life you will live as a brother. Yeah. So it was a nice ceremony. For the first vows, my parents were not there.
Oh, okay.
But for the final vows, my parents were there. So I think my dad was not there. My dad had passed on, unfortunately. But my mother and my brothers and other siblings and family members were there. So it was a nice and beautiful ceremony.
But you know, your dad is my godfather. He stood in for me as when my parents were baptizing me. So your dad was my godfather then.
Wonderful.
So,
it's good to know.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that.
I remember growing up in Coronation. You know, on Sundays he would come knocking on the doors of everyone living in that apartment, and then asking us that we should get ready for church. So he was someone who motivated a lot of us growing up. So
good to hear.
I still remember him like it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
So your dad actually formed some of us. So
great to hear.
We just hope he continues to rest in peace.
Yes.
So. Okay, so once it was a good feeling on that day, then let's go quickly into your educational background.
Okay, so I am, after the novitiate, I came and went to Catholic University.
Okay. For
4 years. I did religious studies and graduated. Then after that, I did my national service at Notre Dame Girls Secondary School in Sunyani. Then after that, I also had the opportunity to go back to school again for formation and theology in Chicago.
Okay.
Then I came back in 2018 to begin this work as a novice master.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically my education has been religious studies. I also did PGD along the line before going to Chicago for the master's program in theology and formation. Yeah, so this is my educational background.
Can you share a bit of your experience in Chicago with us?
Oh, it was a nice experience. Being my first time in Chicago, Of course, you hear it in the news,
In the
and, all
news
that.
and all that.
It was a nice experience. It's a very windy place, and I had never seen winter snow before, and it was wonderful. I think I was uncomfortable with it. You know,
The weather.
I didn't know how to really dress up during the winter time. So for me, I would say it was quite cold. Yeah, but also going there, and the school I went to was Catholic Theological Union.
Okay.
So it's like a seminary form. Many congregations have come together, especially the men congregation, to establish it. And so they bring their seminarians there, and it is open to lay people also. So there you can see the whole of the church there. Many people from other countries, from Asia, Africa, Europe, and America itself. So you meet a lot of people. I met so many Ghanaians there also, who were also training to become priests. Some sisters also, brothers, and lay people. Lay people are also there.
So
one
from
thing
your
that was
congregation, you were the
beautiful.
only one?
Yes, my congregation, I was not the only one. There was one other Holy Cross sister who was also there. Yeah, but my group, I was the only Holy Cross brother there. But before we finished, there was another Holy Cross brother who came in from East Africa to join us. So Chicago is a nice place, very, very beautiful place. And anybody who has the opportunity should go.
I'm sure you would want to go back
And
there someday.
one beautiful thing is I met this famous Reverend Jesse Jackson one time, and I shook his hand, and I think that was quite an experience for me because I've heard him in the news. He was one of the African Americans who fought for freedom for the African Americans, and who was an activist, spoke very well. And it was for me a profound experience to meet him and shake his hand. Yeah, so that was one of the experiences I will never forget.
I'm sure you would still you would want to hold on to that memory for the rest of your life.
I took a picture, but I've been looking and looking wherever I've put the picture. But hey, that memory is still with me. So and the school too was wonderful. You don't get lost because you have other Ghanaians and Africans also there, so you are not alone. And the one thing was that though it was a seminary, there were many women, religious, and lay people teaching there. In fact, the women were more than the men.
Wow.
And it was something that it was a pride for them.
Okay, so let's go quickly to your vocation story. How did it all start? Did you also receive a phone call like the way others receive phone call? Take us through.
Well, I think it's a journey, I would say. I think, and it all began at home. Let me put it that way. There was a sense in which both of my parents were Catholics.
Yeah. Your dad was a staunch Catholic.
Yeah, very staunch Catholic. Yeah. He was a very good practicing Catholic. And we went to Mass.
Daily. 6 a.m. on the dot. You're supposed to be in church. I remember.
And
he kept on knocking on doors. If you are not ready by then.
So I think that was instilled in us from the word go, that sense of Christian living and Catholic living. So along the line, I think when it became so profound is when I went to secondary school. I went to St. Augustine's College. And I think the brothers were living on top of the administration. So I think that they influenced a lot of my calling, I think, especially to become a brother. So they would come in to Mass. Sometimes when we need something to fall on them. So after we had completed, they invited us. They gave some flyers out inviting us for come and see. So that's how come we came. I realized we were many Augustinians came. And I think I came, I was a bit not ready. So the following year they invited me again. And this time I came and I've stayed. Yeah, so I would say it was something, a feeling that comes in, and you needed people to journey with you. And the brothers were there to journey with me. And I think it was a good journey. And I think my own personal also desire to do something for God also helped in the motivation. And because the home setting also helped.
Supported.
There was a sense in which there was a sense of the sacred. Parents will want you to consider that there are other options also in life. If you don't want to marry, and there are other options in the church also. So they also instilled that in us. And I think they also helped in journeying us and taking care of us to make sure this happens. So I'm grateful to them for giving me that environment.
Let's go quickly to your formation days.
Okay.
What are some of the experiences you had during your formation that you can share with us?
Okay, so for us, you begin in second D. We have in St. John's School.
Okay.
That's when we have our candidacy. So usually you spend a year or two, then you move to Butumejebu for another year. Then you come here to Cape Coast for another year. But the experience was that after pre-novitiate in Butumejebu, we were 3.
Okay.
Then unfortunately, 2 opted out. So I became alone.
Okay.
Then there was the need for me. I can't do novitiate alone here in Cape Coast. So that's how come I was asked to go to Uganda to join our Holy Cross in Uganda, in East Africa, for the novitiate. So there we were. I was the only Ghanaian, and there were 3 Kenyans.
Okay.
So it was also a nice experience.
Share with us.
All that, yeah.
Share with us your experience
I
in
think
Uganda.
the experience in Uganda was wonderful because, in fact, the novitiate had no electricity.
Whoa.
And I said that was my first time.
Living in a place with no electricity.
Living with a place. And I think they didn't really tell us before we went. But
I'm sure you wouldn't have gone.
yeah. No. I was eager to go because I was alone. I didn't want them to delay me. And so there was a sense in which, even though I didn't know the place, I was filled with joy. It was like ready for anything that would happen. So we went, there was no electricity in that area. And that was one of the surprise. And it was also in a remote, far from town, about 7 miles or 4 to 7 miles away from town. So we had to ride bicycles. And you know, I didn't know how to ride bicycles at that time.
Whoa.
So I had to also learn how to ride bicycle, because
that's
you
another
go
sort
to
of experience.
you go to ministry with bicycle because the place was far. So I had to learn. Of course, in that village, you had young kids even riding bicycles. So when they saw me, a grown up, they were laughing.
Right.
But it took me only a day or 2 to learn it, and they will leave you on your own. Then so that was quite an experience. And no electricity throughout the novitiate too. So we didn't have the chance of any television, no internet. So you would be given a lantern.
That's what you use in studying?
Okay, you were given a lantern. There was a generator.
Okay.
I was in charge of it. So from 7 to 10, you put it off in the evening. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. in the evening, then you put it off. So the whole day, no electricity. Then after 10 to no electricity. But we were given lanterns. So when the light goes off, and in case you want to come out to do something, or you are in your room, you want to do your personal reading or something, you can put on your lantern and use it. Yeah.
Eventually, you adjusted to it.
Oh, eventually, we had to adjust. And it was a nice experience because for the first time, you paid attention to the sky. You see, in town, you hardly look up, even in the night. You don't see much. But there, because the whole place was dark, when you look up, you really see the beauty
of the moon,
of the sky.
The moon and then the stars.
The moon and the stars. And it was a wonderful experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Let's come back quickly to your community life. If you can share with us, comparing community life and then family life.
Yeah. One of the mark of being a brother is to live in community with other brothers. So for us as religious of Holy Cross, and indeed any religious, community life is very, very essential. You can't live alone. So it has its beautiful side and also challenging side. So you have to live with people you don't know. Your biological family, you know, you are living with your blood siblings, but in our community now, you don't choose to who you want to live with. So you have to, of course, it is just not thrown to you. You learn the skills to be able to live in community. One of the skills is tolerance. You have to tolerate divergent views. You have to be open to other ways of doing things. You have to be open to people's opinion. So we learn to live together as Christians, as Catholics, and also especially as brothers. So that's the reason for which we call ourselves brothers. Then we will be brothers to one another.
As you journey together.
Yes. We are not blood brothers, but by virtue of our vows as Holy Cross religious, we have to be brothers to one another. And that is what Jesus also wants us to live as a community of Christians.
So how many communities have you lived in so far?
Okay, since my profession, I think I've lived in about 3 communities. I've lived in Cape Coast, I've lived in Takrady, I've lived in Sunyani.
Okay.
Yeah. So Cape Coast, we have a community in St. Augustine's and Bradfield.
Okay.
Then in Takrady, we have a community at St. John's. And in Sunyani, we also have a community in a place called Dumesia.
Okay.
So I think 4 communities. But most of them have been in Cape Coast.
Okay. In these communities, what were your apostolates?
Okay, in these communities, I have been, I think, a student and also a formator.
Okay.
Yeah. In St. Augustine's, I was a student schooling in UCC for my PGD.
Okay.
Then in Cape Coast, that time I was a novice director. Then in Sunyani, I also was in charge of the scholastics. So when these are temporary professed brothers who are schooling in Catholic University or University of Energy and Natural Resources. Some are also in the Polytechnic there. So I was also the formator there. So most of my position have been in charge of formation.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go quickly to your formation, but then if you just joined us, I am having a conversation with Brother Francisco Gillette from the Congregation of the Holy Cross. Let's take this quick break. When we come back, we'll continue.
We are Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny, an international congregation founded by a young lady called Blessed Anne-Marie Javoué of Blessed Memory. The congregation started in France, and gradually, through the invitation of various church leaders, we find ourselves here in Ghana today. We've been in Ghana for over 30 years. At the moment in Ghana, we can be found in Domiabra, Kunsu Domiabra in Goso Diocese. We are in the Archdiocese of Kumasi and also Obuasi. Basically, we are into education, health work, social work. In our congregation, our motto is liberate to empower. We see the need to bring liberation in all forms. So we respond to the needs of the time wherever we find ourselves. We liberate and we empower the people we encounter. Our motto is the holy will of God. We seek to do the will of God in all that we do. Prayer is our hallmark. We are very simple and we live community life as all congregations do. Thank you. If you're a young lady and you feel inspired or called to join us, you can contact us on 054 52 52 015. You can find us on Facebook, Vocations Office, Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny, West Africa. Thank you.
If you just tuned in, you are watching Cafdil TV, and this is Vocation Profile. And I am having a conversation with Brother Francisco Gillette. Brother, let's get back to our conversation. So, we were talking about community life. Do religious stay in community for a long period of time, or they sometimes change?
Yes. Generally, every 3 years there is reshuffling of brothers. Brothers are moved to other communities. But depending on the nature of a ministry, a brother may stay in a community for quite a long time. But generally, it doesn't happen that a brother will live for the rest of his life in one community, the whole of his life. You will be moved around and change. Sometimes too, you yourself can request to be moved from one community to another. And if the request is accepted, then you can move. Yeah, but usually every 3 years there is reshuffling.
For instance, yourself, how many years have you lived in this community?
So since 2018, I've lived here. Then in 2022, I left for Sunyani community. Then 2024, I have come back to live here. So that's how sometimes it happens. Given the situation or the assignment they want to entrust to you, you will be moved around. So,
what do you like most about religious community lifestyle?
I think for me, it's the brotherhood, right? The sense that we are living together as brothers, the concern for one another and each other. Other brothers know me, they know my family members. I also know them, I know their parents and family members. So we check on each other, and it also helps you to live your religious life, to pray, and to share things in common, and we serve as support for each other, right? So that is one thing. We go beyond friendship because we are brothers who are more concerned about the welfare of one another. That helps the community. It builds up the community for the community to also flourish, and also it helps you to live your vows successfully, because living in community, you have opportunity to pray together, you have opportunity to share meals together, you have opportunity to serve God's people also together. So those are the benefits that come living in community.
Has there ever been a toughest time living in the community?
Oh yeah, there will be moments that you disagree with others, and we have to be mature in a way to deal with that. There are sometimes you step on other people's toes, then so we have to develop that skill to be able to forgive one another, right? So that is some things you also develop. So there are sometimes it's tough, right? It's like just living among your family members also. Sometimes you get conflict here and there, but we want to live like Christ and the apostles the way they said. Therefore, if Christ is the model, then we all have to look up to Christ, not to any human being. And that makes a lot of sense when we do that, and becomes more easier to live at peace with one another. But there are moments that we disagree on many issues. There may be conflict here and there. But by God's grace, since we have not killed each other yet.
There's no way you are going to kill each other.
But yeah, that gives us hope that, we are doing well.
You are human. You are human, so at a point you would disagree.
You would disagree.
But then you still come back to the same.
Exactly the point.
Right. So what do you make of today's community life? As in community life in today.
Yeah. Today, I think today's community life is quite challenging, because sometimes because of the needs that are there. Sometimes you go for studies, maybe outside of the community. So you may live alone, right?
Okay.
But at least for a given period. Like when I was schooling in Chicago, there was a need that I moved out of the community. But because there were other religions also, you form a community in that place.
Okay.
There are others also who had to go to the Catholic University. They are religious, but they are also living sometimes alone because of their need, right? And it becomes challenging. But because you have developed that skill, and because it's for a period of time, superiors allow it to come, because maybe after the semester you come back to live in the community. Yeah, and usually they want more mature religious to live that to live in that place, so that the challenge will be minimal for you. But yeah, today's community life, I wouldn't say is more. Every period has its own challenge, but given the signs of the times today, it also has its challenges. Because sometimes we need to educate our brothers, and if they have to have diverse education, sometimes where the school is, we don't have a community there. So sometimes we may make the brother live with another congregation, right? Like we've gotten the times that brothers have gone to Kumasi. We don't have a community in Kumasi.
Okay.
So we fall on maybe the marist brothers to accommodate the brothers for us, especially when they are temporary professors.
Okay.
Because they need to do the annual evaluation, and if they don't have anybody living, who will do that? So it's good they stay in a community of brothers, and also for their own growth and maturity and sustenance of their vocation. Yeah.
In your apostolate as a religious, have you come across any misconception relating to the religious life?
Yeah. I think, like for us brothers, sometimes people confuse us with the priest.
Okay.
Because we are men, yeah, but we are not priests.
Okay.
So sometimes that is the misconception. Even when you have, say you have told them you are brothers, sometimes they forget, they call you father. So sometimes that's a bit of clarification that we need to always give. So I think that is one thing that is I would say is challenging for us, the misconception.
Yeah.
So we are brothers. We are not priests.
Okay.
Yeah. So that and sometimes too people misconstrued, as I said. And if what brothers do, what priests do, but it's the same. No, it's not. They have, the priest would have their vocation, and the brotherhood also have their vocation. Yeah, in the church.
Interesting. What actually keeps you going in the religious lifestyle?
Oh, I think for me, prayer is key.
Okay.
Yeah, the prayer is key, and also the community life. Yeah, that really keeps us going, and that's what I would say really motivates us and keeps us going. And prayer is one of the foundation of being a religious. Yeah, because you have to always sustain your relationship with Jesus, your relationship with God, and I think that is what sustains every religious and every brother. Right. Yeah.
Okay. Let's get back to the family. Where is your mom now?
So my mom now is in Elmina,
Okay.
because when after the death of dad,
Okay.
we left Cape Coast and now we are in Elmina.
So she's now sitting in Elmina.
Yes, now she lives in Elmina with my other siblings there. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go quickly to your new role as the novice master.
Okay.
Kindly share with us your experience.
Okay, so as the novice master is a work that the congregation has given you, has entrusted you to form others to become brothers. So it's a 1 year program of formation, more of a spiritual formation, where the young men come in. There we learn how the congregation came about our founder.
Okay.
We learn many of our saints, like Saint Brother Andre.
Okay.
It serves as an opportunity, also serves as an apprenticeship of you becoming a brother.
Okay.
So before you become a brother, you pass through this stage, you are given the needed skills you need to live as a brother. So the novitiate is a spiritual year. It's a year that is meant to train novices to become brothers. So it's a very intensive year. They don't have any holidays. They don't go home. They stay here for the whole year.
Permanently.
They have also ministry. They go out. Some go to school for the deaf, then the regional hospital to minister there. And also it helps them to learn and see how God is working in the lives of his own people.
Okay. Let's talk about your twin brother.
Oh, okay.
Where is he now?
My twin brother is in Elmina now,
Okay.
but he also works. He goes around and works. He's a plumber. He's a good plumber, and also he's a tiler. Right?
Okay.
So he moves around.
Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't stay at one
He doesn't
place.
stay at one place. He doesn't stay at one place. Yeah.
So how many years have you been the novice master for the Holy Cross?
So since 2018. So about 7 years now. Yeah.
That means you've trained a lot of people.
Well, I've had, I think, 3 groups
Okay.
under my care. So this is my 3rd my third group.
You know their numerical number.
In all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The first group, there were 4.
Okay.
The second group were 3. Then now the third group, there are 4.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to your influence. Have you ever influenced anyone, or has there ever been a time where you were just walking and then somebody approached you that you made an impact on his life or something?
Oh, well, I think being a formator, the assumption is you will definitely have some form of influence on them because you live with them, and each day they have influence on you, also have influence on them.
But not only with your novices though, but
yeah.
I mean the
okay.
outside world.
Outside world.
People,
yeah.
when you go out from your family, from your community.
Yeah. Well, I think yes, I would say yes, especially when I was teaching at Notre Dame Girls. I think there are some who have kept in touch, and I think I have a plaque there. Some of the students gave me, and they are words of encouragement that show that you played a role in their lives. And there is one who I had to be a referee for her when she was going outside for further studies. And I think on that basis, I would say I've had some form of influence in people's lives. Also, I would say, in fact, when I was a novice, we worked in the AIDS clinic. And that was something that was a profound experience for me. You go, we pray for these people. Sometimes you see children who, through no fault of theirs, have contracted the sickness. It was mother to child.
Okay.
And you had to be with them. It was sometimes difficult. Sometimes you also have to watch some of them die, but generally they were healthy because they have access to antiretroviral drugs and other. But that was one of the experiences, and I felt I had so much influence, journeying with people, sometimes on their deathbed. Yeah. So I think on that score, I would say there has been some influence. I know my brother also named one of his son.
Okay, after you.
So if he had done that, maybe I've had some influence in my brother's life. So that is also one of the things I can pinpoint to say that I've had an influence
on someone.
Because he didn't ask me whether he just did it.
He's your brother, and he knows you very well.
I found that to be I find that to be appreciated. I find it very appreciative. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so talking of children and then marriage lifestyle, has it ever crossed your mind that you missed out?
Oh. Well, I think growing up when you are looking for what to do, what you want to do in life and other things. Yeah, along the line, these things will cross your mind. But as you journey with people and people direct you, and the call is also coming, God in a way shows you the way. And after you have also become a religious, it will definitely cross your mind. Yeah, it will definitely cross your mind, because that is God has made everything. Like marriage is an institution that God created. So sometimes you go for a friend's wedding. My JSS classmates, they are in the period of marriage, and quite often they have invited me for their wedding. And you see that to be beautiful, but some of us, maybe that's not what God has called us to. So, well, it crosses our mind, but because it's not something God has not called us to we admire and pray for married people that God make them symbolize really the mystery of the church. Yeah. So as for marriage, once in a while it will cross your mind. You see a nice couple with their nice children and a nice family, then it hits you maybe, yeah, how would it have been if you had married? You know, and also when you were in the ministry, one time we were in church and the priest called all the mothers newly born to come for blessing. And there were so many. He said, wow, these people have been working hard. Yeah, so, I mean, being human and everything, sometimes you entertain that thought. But that is not, sometimes you feel, go beyond the feeling and realize that, no, that is not what God is calling you to. And when you see that and you make the step, and by God's grace, since I made a step, God has been journeying with me and all that. I mean, our own sisters and brothers, we go for their wedding. My sister's wedding, I was there. My brother's wedding, I was there. And it was beautiful. And we pray that they are still married, so we thank God for that. And we still pray for them that God will sustain their family and their marriages. Yeah.
So are you fulfilled as a religious?
Oh, yes. Yes. Because it's something that you want and something that also God has invited you to. So deep down there is that fulfillment to know that, hey, I think this is what I want. So for us to be able to make final commitment, to say that for the rest of your life, this is how you want to live. Yeah. There is that inner fulfillment. Yeah, that comes. Yeah, but like with any other things, there are certain times you go through certain situations that you kind of, is this what God still wants from me? So it's one thing being called, and it's another also sustaining that call, right? So you have to sustain the call by keeping active your relationship with God, your relationship with Jesus. So that is fulfilling. And also, like these novices who are here, I feel I'm making an impact in their lives. So that is also fulfilling. Yeah, very fulfilling.
So in your next generation, you will still want to be a religious?
In my next generation, that question, I always say, will I have the same parents? So if I have the same parents, the same siblings, the same environment I grew up, and if I come back also as a Christian and a Catholic, what about if I come as a Muslim? So I always say, if what I experienced, which brought me to become a brother, if in my next life or next generation, I have that same experience, I think I will still choose that. But if God also gives me another experience, then maybe, I don't know. So for me, that's how I ask, because parents and environment play a very big role in nurturing the vocation at home and giving you that sensibilities to consider that. But if we don't, sometimes it will become difficult. Yeah. So that's how I would say.
Okay. I think our time is fast spent, but then I would want you to touch on young men out there. Speak to the heart of young men out there.
Oh, okay. I would say to the young men, it's great to be young, and it's great to use your youthfulness, right, to build your relationship with God, right? You don't lose anything. Sometimes we think we lose so much when we build our relationship with God. But it helps you to grow and be a mature person and makes you make the right decisions. And young people should not be afraid to ask for help. I think that is one thing. They think they can do it on their own. I would say no. Ask for help. Listen more. And we also wish that some will also become brothers.
Yes, I was about to go to that point. So,
Yes.
since you are the novice master,
Yes.
you have the platform to invite young men who would want to join the congregation.
Wonderful. So we are brothers of Holy Cross. We are more apostolic, not contemplative. And so we are also in the teaching field. We have schools that we train young men to become responsible citizens in the country, also in the church, and also become citizens of heaven. So we invite all young men to consider the vocation of the brother, and specifically to Holy Cross. But generally, I'll tell young people to be patient with themselves and be open to learn, right? And they should build their relationship with God and try to seek for help, right? Because I feel they think they can make it on their own. They don't need anybody, and that's very dangerous. It doesn't make them, they can make very dangerous decisions, and that can be lasting, right? So, and I pray for young people that they will make the right decisions in life. Okay.
Amen. But then you still have the platform to share with them your number in case they are interested in.
Great. So we are brothers of Holy Cross, and I am Brother Francisco. I'm the novice master. And anybody who wants to seek for any help, if you are a young person, I also am trained in spiritual direction also. So my number is 054 052 6995. 054 052 6995. So thank you.
Thank you too. It's been an interesting conversation.
Wonderful.
And I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, I'm also happy we were able to do this.
Yeah.
And it's good to see you again and to go back memory lane to share those memories. Yeah, my regards to your other sibling and your mom.
Sure, they would definitely hear.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'd like to say thank you to Brother Francisco Gillette for honoring our invitation. You watched us on Religious Vocation profile, and this is where we draw down the curtains on today's edition. My name is Shadrach Samuel Adenu, and I sat in for Reverend Sister Marian. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family. Go to our social media handles: Facebook, Cafdil Cape Coast, YouTube, Cafdil EDU. Make sure you share with somebody so that they can also get to watch our programs and then also learn from it. Until we meet again, it's bye for now.